Okay guys, today we're going to take a look at a research content created into an infographic comparing the world's money markets, and this is thanks to the Money Project. We'll send you a direct link to their infographic, and thank you to the people at the Money Project. So guys, this is a great simple infographic to simply show you very visually and very simple mathematics you can see for yourself in a very visual, delightful way of how the visualization works. It tells you one black block here equals the size of 100 billion worth. So as you're working down the page, if you keep in mind that one black block is 100 billion, keep in mind of that as you're working through the global world money market. So we have silver here, the first one off the ranks, and the world silver, the value of all the ground silver stocks. Keep in mind, I must say, this is dated October the 26th, 2017, and already it's March the 7th, 2018 at the time of compiling this information. So just keep that in mind. And anyway, the people at the Money Project probably keep this updated quite regularly. And if you're watching this content in the future and it's not updated, please go to the link, resource link available in the notes. So they're saying about the silver ground stocks is established of some 1 billion ounces is 17 billion, using $17 an ounce as the spot price. Okay? And the next off the rank is cryptocurrency, and this is the market that has myself and my wife and many of my wonderful colleagues and team very fascinated because of the innovation and how it can really help people in general I mean, not just in developing countries, but in developing countries, sorry. Not just in developed countries, but in developing countries like India, Philippines, Africa, and so forth. There's many of those countries that we know, and there's many people in that population that are in the unbanked market. And as those economies grow, sure, the wealth is going to be there, and their country is going to grow, but you know, the wealth needs to be shared across the board, I believe. And if we have that and we have a better across the board wealth transfer, then it makes everyone smile, makes everyone happier, better meals at night, blah, blah, blah. We all know. So here, sitting at number 2, cryptocurrency, the world's fastest growing asset class is cryptocurrency, they're saying. But even Bitcoin looks tiny in the grand scheme of things, okay? And when compared to other global markets. So here you can see Bitcoin, they've got pointed out here, is 100 billion in the cryptocurrency marketplace. The rest is 45 billion, and then Ethereum is sitting at third here at 28 billion. Okay, so if you're new beginning and don't know about this new asset class and cryptocurrency and everything, there's plenty of information out there. I will share some information links down below. But let's go on and let's go forward into the world economy of marketplace and finances. And next off the rank, we have the biggest companies. Some of us may know these brands, some of us may have heard of them. Anyway, we have Berkshire Hathaway, and you can see, look at it, they've got 4 blocks and a smaller block. So you're looking at, you can calculate the numbers there. And then you have Microsoft, and then you have Alphabet, and then Apple, and then you have Facebook and Amazon. And you can do your own due diligence and go through those numbers of each company and work out the approximate figures of the time of this data was released. World's biggest companies, Apple is the world's largest public company by market capitalization worth 807 billion. Okay, so there's Apple. The world's richest people. Is worth a hefty 1.9 trillion. You have Mr. Gates here sitting at 89 billion. Bezos, I'm pretty sure he's the founder of Amazon, sitting at 84 billion. And then Mr. Warren Buffett sitting at 81 billion, which I'm pretty sure owns Berkshire Hathaway. And then you have Mr. Zuckerberg sitting at 73 billion. And then MA, which is sitting at 39 billion. And then Mr. Musk sitting at 21 billion. And these guys are sitting in the 50th richest people in the world. And then we have down California's GDP. The state of California, America's most populous state, is also the economic powerhouse with a GDP of 2.9 trillion. That eclipses the economies of most countries. Yes, and I think Australia is definitely under 2.9 trillion. But that information may change. This is only just to give you a bit of a perspective overview of everything in the world's marketplace of scheme. Then we have the Fed balance sheets. That's sitting at 3.5 trillion. The Federal Reserve balance sheet between 2008 and 2014. The federal sheet jumped to 4.5 trillion from 1 trillion due to the controversial quantitative easing programs. Next on the ranks is currencies. And you have China and the Euro, the rest of the world, of course USA and Japan. And the total value of these world coins and banknotes is at roughly 7.6 trillion. Next you have gold. So you have private investors over here, and then jewelry, and then other down below, which is other resources made out of gold, I guess. And then central banks and the IMF. The world's total above ground gold reserves are established at 187,200,000 tonnes by the World's Gold Council, using a 1.275 ounces spot price. The world's gold is worth 7.7 trillion. And now we have the stock markets. You have here on the left-hand side, you have United Kingdom, and you can see by the block sizes and how many blocks you can work it out and do your own calculations based on this infograph. And then you have Japan, and then China, and then Euro area, and then of course the United States over here, the big giant, and of course the rest of the world down here. And you can get a bit of a more perspective overview over here of the global stock market. The capitalization of all the world's stock markets is equal to $73 trillion. Next on the rank, we have global money supply. And they're saying here that dinero money is the total value of the world's easily accessible money is 36.8 trillion. This includes the world's coins, banknotes, and checking deposits. And then down below, you have the broad money. The total value of the world's money is 90.4 trillion. This includes coins, banknotes, money, market accounts, as well as saving, checking, and time deposits. And then you have down here a bit of a different graphic, 8% physical money and then 92 non-physical money. Very interesting graph there to show that 92% of the money is non-physical, keeping all things into perspective in these transitioning times, and hopefully better times for all people around the globe, not just for some. Global debit is the amount of debit, including the accumulated by governments, corporations, and households. Together it adds to 215 trillion, which is 325% of global GDP. And these are all the developed markets up the front here, and then emerging markets down below, which I'm guessing is like India, parts of Africa, and Philippines, and other developing nations would be in that. And then it's saying that 70 trillion of the world's debit, 33%, was added in the last decade alone. So very interesting. We are a very debit conscious society now. Global debit is currently at record highs, partially thanks to the sky-high expansion of credit in China. Credit in China here is the debit is the percentage of the GDP, and you can see a nice graphic showing you the increases over the last 5 years or so. And it's showing you the non-financial corporates, household, government. And so you can go through that later on. And then next off the ranks, we have global real estate. We have commercial real estate over here in the blue. And then in the green, we have agriculture real estate. The global real estate is estimated value of all developed real estate in the world amounts to $217 trillion. This covers residential property, offices, retail spaces, hotel, industrial land, agricultural land, as well as other commercial uses, they're saying. %21 of the world's total residential asset value is in the North America, despite the fact that only 5% of the population lives there. So very interesting, guys, very interesting to see where the market is, and great time for entrepreneurs and empathy and missionary-minded entrepreneurs to see where the market can be and where it can grow in the world economy. And then we have Europe contains 24% of the residential assets by value, but only houses 11% of the population. Further down the list, we have derivatives. Derivative is the low and estimate size of the scope of the world global derivative markets is 544 trillion on a national contract basis. What is a derivative? A derivative is a contract between two or more parties that derives its values from the performance of an underlying asset, index, or entity. Example of derivatives is future contracts, forward contracts, options, warrants, and swaps. Banks typically use high amounts of leverage to attain their position. Some derivatives, such as commodity futures, are traded or regulated exchanges such as the Chicago Mutual Exchange. However, the majority of the derivatives are traded outside the exchanges between private companies and are called over-the-counter trades. So there's some very valuable insight and information I didn't even know about myself as we get into the deeper pits of money market in the world scheme of things. So hopefully this is of value. Here is, we have reached the low end estimate is 544 trillion. The high estimate of the value of the derivative contracts is a high as 1.2 quadrillion. The truth is that no one really knows the exact size of the market. Views on derivatives. Many finance professionals consider derivatives to be zero-sum trades. In other words, there is a winner and a loser in each side of the bet. However, other experts warn that massive size of derivatives market could contain significant risks and consequences to global markets. A quote by Dr. Richard Sandor says this: The positives of derivatives can be used to help allocate and take price risks out of everything from corn to cattle to stock. There are good derivatives that are self-regulating, such as interest rate swaps, currency forwards. I've been working for exchanges for 41 years, he says, and do not think regulation is incompatible with efficient market. I think derivatives promote efficiency. Warren Buffett says, this is what Warren Buffett has to say about derivatives. Derivatives genie is now well out of the bottle. These instruments will almost certainly multiply in a variety and number until some event makes their toxicity clear. Central banks, governments have so far found no effective way to control or even monitor the risks posed by these contracts. In my view, derivatives are financial weapons of mass destruction, carrying dangers that, while now latent, are potentially lethal. That's from the great man himself, Warren Buffett. Jeff Green also shares this about the derivatives market. If there were not derivatives, there would be no bank loans at all today, because people want to get fixed rate 30-year loans, but banks don't want to keep 30-year loans on their books. Okay, so it's interesting perspectives from experts within their industry. So derivatives is definitely a concerning market, I guess. From a conservative point of view, I would say it's a market that does not possibly show favour to developing countries, and possibly not favour to the middle class. But at the same time, please use your own due diligence. Seek out the experts and the advice that you can take favour upon. So seek your financial advisor, seek your legal advisor when it comes to these markets. And hopefully this has been of help to you. And thanks to the Money Project, uses rich visuals to explore the concept and the implications of money. So thanks to them, and I'll put a link down below showing their website and a direct link to this infograph. And please share down below in your comments your thoughts about the world money market, and how do you feel about every section of the money market, and how do you feel about the cryptocurrency and any of the other markets in general. We'd love to hear your thoughts and on this matter, and thanks for your time. Have a great day at the time that you're watching this, and till next time, bye now from Brian.